Today we will continue with the SQL Server part. First, we'll understand what is SQL Server, and then the installation part, I don't think so it is required now. In the interest of time, I'm going to skip this part because already we have covered enough time. We discussed enough time, and I hope most of you have installed. If you have not yet installed, we will take it up later, okay? And then we will continue with the data types and then the built-in functions. So, all right, what is SQL Server? SQL Server is a relational database management system. Okay, so you can go and download the SQL Server from the Microsoft site. There are 4 different editions are available. One is the Express edition, other one is the Developer edition, Standard and Enterprise. These two are free, and I believe most of you used the Express edition. Okay, and you'd have installed the SQL Server. And first of all, what is a database management system? Before we understand the relational database, what is database management system? It is a program, it's a software, right? Database management system is software. It helps us to store the data and in a centralized place, and also we can manipulate the data, and we can, once you store the data, you can modify the data. You can insert the data, you can modify the data, you can remove the data. And also, if you want to retrieve the data, the stored data, if you want to retrieve it, you can retrieve it for the later point in time. Okay. If you want to perform any analytics, you can use a database system. You can store the data there. Once the data are available, the next step is, yes, we need to do cleaning everything. That one will be done as part of either the Power Query editor or other ETL tools. And then we use Power BI desktop tool to create the reports also. First of all, you need to have the data. So the data we store it in the database management system. But the database management system, there are 2 types. Other one is the relational database system, and the other one is non-relational database system. We know very well what is the relational database management system, creating the relationship between the tables. Even in the case of Power BI, the data view in the Power Pivot, we discussed how to create the relationship between the tables. Okay, what is a relationship is all about, one-to-many relationship, and also we discussed different types of relationship. Okay, so if you want to do filtering, or if you want to join more than one table to retrieve the data from multiple tables, then you need to create the relation between the tables or amongst the tables. So in the case of relational database, obviously you need to create the relation. Okay, if you want to retrieve the data from more than one table. Whereas in the case of non-relational, okay, you don't have to store, so you don't have to create any relationship. Okay, the classic example for the non-relational database are like document data store and column database, graph database. We have some graph database and value store. In the case of Hadoop system, they are most of them, they use non-relational database, the NoSQL database. Okay, and the document data store and XML. In the case of right, so the document data store. Okay, this is also another type of non-relational database, non-relational data. Okay. But we will look at the relational part now. First, understand what are the types of DBMS are available. Relational, non-relational. The NoSQL databases like HBase and Cassandra. These are the examples for NoSQL database. And then Mark Logic. Mark Logic is also, in one of the projects, my student, he was working with the Mark Logic SQL. So that is also NoSQL database. Okay, what is RDBMS? Like I said, relational database management system. If you want to query the data from both this table, in that case, you need to create the relationship between the 2 tables in the case of RDBMS. For example, I wanted to display a report, or I want to display employee name and then the department name and the salary. The employee name, salary, and department name are available in, see, employee name and salary is available in this table, whereas the department name is available in another table. If I wanted to select all in these 3 columns from these 2 tables, you need to create the relationship between the tables. How do you create the relationship between the 2 tables? You need to create the relationship based on the common column between the 2 tables. You need to create the relationship. Here we have department number, here also we have department number. So department number is common in both the tables. But in this table, the department number, the values in this column will be unique. You are not supposed to have any duplicate values. Okay. Whereas here, you can have duplicate values. In this table, the value for this department number comes from this table's department number. Hence, this is a foreign key column. This is your primary key column in this table. This one should not have duplicate values. In the case of RDBMS, the OLTP system, right, they call this is a master table or lookup table. This is also called as a master table. The department table is a, one second, sorry. The department table is also called as master table because here you have the primary key column here. The primary key column should not have any duplicate values here. Even in this case also you have primary key column, whereas here in the department number in this table need not to be unique. Okay, it can have duplicate values here because it is a foreign key foreign key column in this table. Okay, so department table is a master table. It is also called as a lookup table. The same table we call it as a, in the case of star schema, we call this a dimension table, department dimension or something like that. Okay, so net in the case of relational database management, you need to create the relationship between the tables. So next one is what is SQL? We will take a look at the one second. Let me just. What is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. And TSQL, when it comes to Microsoft SQL Server, instead of calling SQL, they named it as TSQL. Okay, so we spell this as SQL or SQL. Okay, SQL or SQL, and some people they use SQL. Some they call it as a SQL. So once you store the data in your table, we use the SQL queries to fetch the data. For example, this is your SQL Server. You created the database here, and using the SQL query, you will retrieve the data from the table where you stored. Okay, so here we have a table. That table is available in a database, and if you want to query, let's say the table name is products. If you want to storing the data is not enough, you need to use the data. So how do you use it? By using the select query, you fetch the data. Okay. The transact SQL, how it is different from the typical SQL. ANSI SQL, they call it as ANSI SQL in other RDBMS softwares like Oracle and MySQL DB2, IBM's databases, RDBMSs DB2. So in those RDBMSs, they call SQL, whereas when it comes to Microsoft, they named it as a TSQL. Okay, so this is the one. The TSQL is primarily used in the SQL Server databases. Okay. The difference is it is procedural. Which one? The TSQL is procedural, whereas the SQL is a non-procedural. If you want to submit a batch of statements to your SQL Server, it is possible because TSQL is procedural, whereas SQL is non-procedural. Anyhow, when I proceed further, you will get to know about what exactly procedural is all about. Next one is we will directly jump into. I'm going to skip the installation part because it is not required at this moment. And now we will take a look at the data types that are supported in SQL Server. The numeric, like other programming languages, the common data types like numeric, string, datetime, and binary, and other data types that are supported in Microsoft SQL Server. And in the case of numeric data type itself, there are at a high level there are two categories. Other one is the integer, other one is decimal. Variable integer is a whole number. The decimal will have the decimal part in it. But within the integer, in SQL Server, what they did, they introduced 5 different types of data type. One is big int, small int, tiny int, and bit. And when it comes to decimal, you have something called money, small money, numeric. Okay, but in SQL Server compared to other RDBMS, to my knowledge, right? So a lot of data types are there. And predominantly, if you remember the numeric integer decimal at an high level, that is enough. But again, the int and small int, we don't want to, with the interest of, with an intention of reducing the storage space, they introduced a different data types. If you want to store a very small, tiny value, whole number, so you can go for tiny int. Okay, and bit, if you want to store a bit 1 or 0, so you can use bit, and small int is small int, tiny int, right? So there is, if you see here, you will get to know that. So if you go to the Microsoft to know the exact difference, you can take a look at it. At this moment, you just understand what are the data types that are available at a high level. That is enough. See, int, bit is 0, 1, like I said. When you will be using bit, for example, gender, 0 is a female, male is 1, right? So this is the convention that we use it. So in that kind of situation, for gender column, you can go for bit, okay? And next one, the integer data type. You can store anywhere between this range, negative 214 to 214 and odd, plus 214 and odd. Okay, so within this range you can store the values, and this one, and number, we have decimal type. So negative 10 to the power 10 raised to the power 38 plus 1, and plus 10 raised to the power 38 minus 1. With this range you can store the decimal values. It supports the values anywhere between this range. And date time 1753 Jan 1 to December 31 49. You can store the values. Okay, and the other one is the string, the maximum length of 8,000 characters. And like I said, even in the case of string itself, different data types are available in SQL Server. N varchar, varchar, and char. They call it varchar or char. Some people say varchar, char. Okay, the maximum length of 8,000 characters you can store it. But the difference between these two, I believe you should be knowing, this is a fixed length, whereas this is a variable length. As the name says, varchar, variable length, whereas it is a fixed length. And the binary is maximum length, 8,000 bytes, fixed length binary data. You can store the binary data with the binary data type. Okay, for example, you want to store the images and all, right? You can go for binary. And what exactly the difference between varchar and char? So this is a fixed one, this is a variable character. So for example, you have, very well, a specific uh, thing like, column, specific column like a region, not region, we will take customer type, customer type, customer type. Listen, very well, one time, and repeat customers. And likewise, right, you have two types of customers, one time, repeat. In that kind of situation, what very well, you are pretty sure the width of this column will not change over a period of time. In that case, you can go for char. Okay, whereas in the case of varchar, or for example, right, in the case of char, if you use the name of a person, name of a person, for this, if you use the char, different people name, the length of different people name varies by person. Some people name will have only 4 letters, and some people, they will have 25 letters. Some people, they have even 30 letters. Okay, it'll keep varying it. But in this case, if you use the char data type, what will happen is, for example, you have given 25 or 35, considering the different people's name. Okay, and you have given 35. What will happen is, some people name will have only 4 letters. Some people will have 6 letters. Even in this case, what will happen, in the memory, right? So it'll allocate 35. It'll reserve 35, the width. Okay, even in this case, though it occupies only 6 in the memory, the rest of them will be blank, but it will be reserved. It will not be used for storage by other memory variables also. Okay, so it is a overkill. So in that kind of situation, if you are pretty sure that the width is not going to change over a period of time, then you can go for char data type, because it's a fixed one. And varchar, as the name suggests, if you give 35, Even in this case of a name of the person, some people they are 4, some people they, the name is very large, lengthy name. In that case, if you go for varchar, what will happen is it will dynamically, decrease or increase the size. If it is a 4-letter name, it will allocate only the 4. And if it is a 35, it will allocate 35. Rest of the spaces will be available for use by other processes. That is the difference between char and varchar. And even here itself, we have, the n var char and all is there. If you know this one at this one, this is more than sufficient. Even in DAX, we have only this much of thing. Apart from this, we have date time, right? Date time, data time. And the next one is the built-in functions. Many built-in functions are available here in Power BI. Here also we have built-in function apps, ABS. You know very well ABS. Supposing you want to convert the negative value into positive value, you can use a function ABS minus 20. It will give 20 only. You need to select ABS 20. It will give you 20 here. For example, if I go to my SSMS, I think I already used it everything. In the interest of time, we can save a lot of time here. No, here it is not there. Anyhow, I'll just type it here. Select ABS of negative 20.4. And if you do this, look here, 20 point. It returns positive. It converts the negative into positive value. And similarly, the round function. The round function is helpful to round off a value. Okay. To round the values to the specified decimal values. For example, here if I go and say select a round of 20.234 comma 2, if I say it, okay, in this case, let me do one thing. I'll just use yeah, 20.200. Here, if I either you can use 1 or you can use 0 also. Okay, or supposing if I use something like this, 20.20. So in this case, what happens is in the decimal part, it is rounding it off. If you specify 1, it will rounding it off to 20. Okay, supposing if I say 26 here, not 26, let me do one thing. I just say 56 here, 60. The decimal place will get rounded off. So when school time we studied anything 0.5 and above, the number will get rounded off to the next or the nearest highest value. But in this case, if I specify 1 here, this is what is happening. And supposing when I specify 0 here, 21. So what is the difference 0 and 1? So if you specify 0, what will happen is it is rounding off from the left side. When you specify 1, from the right side to left, it is going to round it off. Sorry, you find, look here, 20.60. From the right side, it is going to round it off, which means in this case, the decimal values are there in the right side of this one. In this case, it will round it off to the nearest integer. And then if you specify 0 here, from the left side, it will round it off. Since 20.56 is closer to 21, it will give 21. So this is what a round function is all about. And the next, what are the functions we can see here is, yeah, likewise, many functions are available. For example, you have something called floor and seal. This is related to even the number data type. Supposing I have something like select floor 25. As let's say I'm going to give some alias name, floor value. You can specify alias for this also. So floor, it gives only the 25. And if I specify 25.286, what is the value am I going to get? 20.4. Sorry, let me do one thing. I just end each statement with go here. You can use the shortcut F5. Keyboard also you can use it, 25. The floor value, the lowest value. So what exactly the the floor is doing it here. I will just use the seal function here. For example, here I'm going to use seal. We have floor and seal. Floor is an exact opposite of your ceiling. 25. Even in this case, 25. Even in this case, it is 25. Supposing you have a value like 25.75. 26. Whereas in the case of this one, 25 point, let's use the same thing, 25.75. In the case of floor, what will happen? 25 only. Okay. The ceiling function returns the smallest the smallest integer value that is larger than or equal to a number. The opposite is the floor function. Okay. And the seal function, round function, and you have other function like exp function. Select exp, for example, using exp2, and if I select this one, f5, yes, 7.389. In this case, what happens? It returned the e raised to the power of 2. E raised to the power of 2. That is what it gives us. If I give 1 here, e raised to the power 1, that is the value we are getting it with this one. And what other functions are there here? Yeah, likewise, you have count function and floor, min, max, sum, exp, we have seen it. Power function is there. Okay, supposing when you use power, yeah, power, I think power 2, comma 2, it gives me 4. If you want to square the value, right? Or if you say 2 to the power 3, power, you need to use power 8. And likewise, we can explore all these functions. So min, max, sum, we will have to have some data. With that, we will take a look at it. And then is numeric, you want to check whether the given column have numeric values in it or not. Like we have checked it in Power BI, right? Power BI, right? So that as part of DAX, the same thing is you can do it. And what they did, one way it is good in the DAX, whatever the built-in functions, right? The floor, seal, or somewhat min, max, sum, all these are somewhat similar to our Power BI desktop DAX functions, okay? But not all the functions, but most of the functions are somewhat similar. The next one is the date built-in function. This is very much helpful. You can perform a lot of data. Before that, the string built-in function. Before we get in there, we'll quickly explore the string built-in function. A lot of string functions are available, text-related functions. Supposing you want to do some kind of concatenation, your concat function is available. Concat here, what we will do is, for example, I'm going to use test, and here I say hello world. If you want to concatenate two string, you can use concat function. I believe the other option is plus sign. I'm not sure. You can use, instead of this, you can use, if you want to concatenate the string, you can also use the plus sign. And here plus, and at the end, I'm going to remove it. I just say this one. And here, if you want to leave some space, yeah, even you can use plus sign to concatenate two strings, or you can use the concat function. Okay. And okay, usually what I do is I will open the SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, and I'll connect it here. And then I'll start with the navigation part. So here it is self-explanatory. Okay. And what I did, so you see on the left side, you can see the databases here. If you expand this one, in my case, I have created many databases. Okay. So in your case, you need to first create the database, but creating database is not the responsibility of the SQL developer. It is the responsibility of database administrator. They are the ones supposed to create the database. First of all, we will not have any access or privileges to create the database. Okay, and you will not have create privilege or drop privilege. Okay, because the databases one will comprises of all the objects, tables, views, triggers, stored procedures, many, all the objects, the collection of objects will have it in your databases, a database. And if you drop it mistakenly, if you have a privilege to drop it, everything will go away. Okay, so hence only the database administrator, they are the one have the privilege to drop database. And again, there are senior database administrator, junior database administrator. The junior database administrator, they will have only create privilege, they don't have the drop. But in order to learn the SQL queries, everything, you need to create the database for your test learning purpose. So either what you do is you just click on this database folder and right click on it. You can click on new databases. This is the GUI, graphical user interface way of creating the database. For example, I just want to create something like dummy or a demo 22, something like demo DB. Okay, demo DB. I want to create the database, and you just type it, the database name here, and then press enter. That's it. Your database will be ready. Already exists. In my case, it is already exist. What I will do is demo DB2, and I'm going to press enter. That's all. You don't have to be familiar with the syntax, the SQL syntax to create the database. However, I will tell you how to create the database using from the command line. Using a command. For example, I'm going to say create database. To create the database, you need to use this reserved word, create database, and demo test, or night batch, some night, or okay, early warning, something like early warning database. My database is ready now. Now I want to create a table. Okay, how do I create the table? So here we have a lot of databases are there. Look here, this command, I executed it. And now it, already I created it. Once again, if I try to execute this one, it throws an error. This database already exists. Choose a different database name. Okay, already it got created because just a while ago I executed this one. Now on the left side, if you see here, the early warning is not available. You need to refresh this one just by clicking on this one. You can find it here. Let me do one thing. Sometimes, it will not be visible. It got created, right? Let me just check. Okay. So these are the system databases. Don't ever touch this. This is related to SQL Server database. Once you install the SQL Server, and when you start connect the SQL Server via this SSMS, you will find the system databases. These databases already created. This one is reserved for the system. Okay, the SQL Server, it stores its own the metadata, everything here. Okay, here I just wondering, can you see early warning here, the one I created it? It takes some time to refresh. Let me just use Control F. Let me early warning. Sometimes when you reconnect, it will work. Let me open another one. So this is how we can create the database. Anyhow, it is not your responsibility. Again, you don't have to uh, type the command and create the database. Just select this one, right click on it, create database. If you hit that, it will ask you the database name. If you type it, it will get created quickly. It will not take much time, but that is not our responsibility. Okay, but better you just rely on the GUI one. Okay, once you right click on database, you can create it. So how do I drop the database? You can drop the database with this command database. Supposing you don't need a database, already I have created a dummy database. Dummy database, I think so. Yeah, dummy is there already. I don't need this one. If I want to drop it, press F5. Okay, because it does not exist. Okay, where is that yeah, demo DB? Okay, this is the one I created it here. I don't see. I see only a few tables. What I do is I just do some kind of. But in real life scenario, don't ever try the drop, delete, and all. Okay, you need to be very careful. There are some projects where I work. Even the delete command, truncate, drop, these commands, they disabled it for the developers. So now I was able to drop this demo database and still it is there. And if you click on it, what will happen is it will get refreshed. Look here, the demo DB went off. Look here, the early warning is now available here. Okay. So it takes some time to refresh. You need to have patience. Okay. A lot of databases are there. And which database am I going to create the tables? Okay. What I will do is I just create a database with the same name DemoDB. I'm going to select everything and I'm a more of a keyboard guy. If you press F5, this command will get executed, or what you do is you click on the execute here. Select this thing, whatever the command that I typed, and if you want to execute only this one, you click on this. And otherwise, what will happen? All these, whatever the queries you wrote it here, right? Entire thing will get executed if you don't select anything. Okay. For example, if you do it like this, look here, all the statements got executed here. Okay. And here you will find the result window, and here you have the message. In case of any error, you can go and check any warning or message. You can go and check it out. Okay, better you select the command which you want to execute it, right? So select that one and then execute it. So in this case, already created the database a while back, since it's saying that database is already got created. So now you need to refresh it and it will take for a while to show it here. So look here, the demo DB is ready now. On the left side, when I click on the plus sign, it gets expanded here. In this case, the tables. Here you can see that the system tables, file tables. You don't have to worry about all these things. Okay, and what you need to do is now you have a lot of, in my case, I have a lot of databases are available. Even in the real-time scenario, you will find a lot of databases will be there. So in that case, what you need to select a specific database. For example, I wanted to create the tables in this newly created database called DemoDB. So you need to select the database. In which database you need to tell SQL Server, hey, in which database you need to create the tables. For that, there is a command called use. This keyword will help you to select this specific database. For example, DemoDB. And then I use go. Okay, go is a command. Okay, and here I just press F enter. Now I am inside the DemoDB. If I create any table, any object, that will become part and parcel of this DemoDB database. But make sure that you are not using system databases to create your table. All things. These are all our business tables or user related tables. But this is system database. Don't ever touch that. It will crash it. But anyhow, we will not have access to the system database in real-time scenario. But still, if you are aware of this, it will be good. Next thing is the other built-in functions like once again, I will see here the string function, substring, and str function. Likewise, a lot of functions are available. You can give it a try, all these functions. Okay, even in our website, we have a link wherein you will find all the syntaxes for this. Okay, and for example, yeah, you have something called I'll just try few of them so that you will gain some you will gain some idea about how to use these functions. For example, I'm going to use substring. Substring is also most frequently used function, built-in function, substring. Here, the first argument, let us say, I just say, learn SQL, and I just say 1 comma 1 2 3 4 5. Right, so 1 comma 5 as some column 1 in str, meaning give some column name, otherwise it will not show anything. So if I do this, it just cut the first word. Substring, what happens is you need to specify the string value here, and followed by that you need to specify from where you need to start, starting position. Here it is 1, start to end. You need to specify start to end. Where you need to cut the data, where you need to split the data. So starting location is L, 1 2 3 4 5. So 5, here we mentioned 5. If you specify 6 up to S, it will slice it, or it will split it. Okay, so this is how we can use substring. Supposing you have month names are available in a column, but you don't want the month name as it is to be displayed in your report. All you need is you just want to display only the first 3 letters. For example, I have January. Like a Jan, Feb, in a column, you have January, February, March, April, May, everything is there, but we don't want the entire name of the month. Instead, we just want the first 3. You want to just cut the first 3 letters. Right? You need to specify the starting position of the string and then the end position. Start with 1, first position, 2, 3. Okay, this is how we can use substring. And also we have something else called the replace function. The replace function is very much helpful. Here what I do is I just say some mistake is there, some spelling mistake. Rajesh Kumar should be there, but whereas here J is there. Okay, what I do is I'll replace the J. I'm going to fix this typo, the error here. I just say replace J from this given name by K. Okay, here this is a bit challenging one. Look here, in this case, J is available in 2 places, right? Rakesh Kumar. Let's assume that this person name is Rakesh Kumar, but mistakenly they have given Rajesh Jumar, something like that. Okay, you can remove it. But supposing you just wanted to replace only the second word, how do you do that? How do you do that? I don't want to disturb this one. Let it be Rajesh, but I have to replace the J by K here. Only here it should replace. How should I do that? Just give it a try. Okay, that is that is kind of an assignment for you. And the next one is I just use the same thing here. Instead of replace, there is something called len. These are the most frequently used string related functions. Len will give you the length of your string. 12. Okay. So in this case, you can use the len also as part of your substring. First, you find out the length of the specific name or something like that. And then what you do is starting from that to this, right? You can cut the value, something like that. You can use the len along with substring also. And we have the left function is available. Select left to right available. For example, here I say Rajesh. Here, what I am going to do is I just say 3 here. Okay, and I just select this one, Raj. Okay, just select only this, the left side. The left side, from the left side, you select only 3 letters here. Okay, and similarly, right. So on the right side, I want to select only these 3 values. Basically, you want to split the string. Right, you can use the left or you can use substring. Also, the replace is very much handy. Okay. And other one is the concat WS. For example, I have something called select concat. Like concat, we have something called WS is there. Okay. So the first argument is your separator. You can use some kind of separator here. Okay. Here, let's say, the SQL, I say is, sorry, comma, is each and every word is separated by this separator, word separator, concat WS. Concat the strings, and at the same time, make sure that while concatenating, you are using some kind of separator, hyphen. In this case, hyphen I used it. I want to use the hyphen to separate the values. Likewise, host of functions are available to play around with the string. You can go to the Microsoft site and then you can just play around with it. If you are so passionate about working more on the text data. Nowadays, the text cleaning is one of the important tasks, right? Even in the case of NLP space, the lot of text cleaning, everything is done, all right? So, and the behind the scene. Chat GPT, Chat GPT, right? That's gaining a lot of popularity. It's all pure, it is related to NLP space, natural language space. In the natural language space, text cleaning needs to be done because the text data are completely unstructured and a lot of issues, a lot of data related, text data related issues you will be finding it there. That kind of situation, these are the functions are helpful, and also this is just the tip of the iceberg, and you can find the exhaustive functions, exhaustive list of functions that are available. You can just give it a try. Difference, format, and format, you remember in Power Query editor, or right, I've used the format, len lower, ltrim, n char. Okay, if you want to return the Unicode character, you can use this one. And space, if you want to return a space string of repeated spaces, you can use space. Okay. For example, one letter to other letter. Look here, hello and world. In between, I need a space here. Instead, I'm going to use a space function itself. Instead of leaving a blank string here, I just say space. I think it will leave space. I used it long back. Yes, it is giving a space. If you give more space, for example, if you want to leave 10 space between the first and last word, instead of using the empty string between the plus, empty string plus, right, you can use a space to leave space between the word or so. Likewise, a lot of functions are available. Text function, you can play around all the things. I just use the most frequently used and popular functions, the text functions, built-in functions. Okay, and then the next one is the date part. So the date data type. To manipulate the date related columns, you can go for this one, the date add function, date part. So these are the functions are available. Okay. And in the date part, where is the date? Yeah, date part function is available. If you want to extract only the year from a given date, then you can use the date part. For example, I just show you here. So how do I display the current date? Get date function is available. Select get date function is available. With this, we'll get current date. So today's date, and with the time, it gives me all. What I need is I just want to extract only the year from this. In that case, I'm going to use date part function, and then the first argument. Suppose your interval. You want to return extract only the year or month from today's date. I'm going to select this F5 2023. If you want to extract only the year, you can use date part function. But in the date part function, the first argument suppose your interval, and the second argument is suppose your date column. And similarly, if you want to extract the quarter, you can specify quarter here. Quarter, month, day of year. If you want to display the day of year, that is also possible. But instead of writing it separately, I just do one thing here. Here I just say weekday. Look here, just if you type one letter, it displays the list of functions that start with weekday in the drop down. Look here, day is 5. So, okay, weekday is 5. And likewise, you can try other functions or date part. Even minute, second, millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond also you can extract from this. Okay. And if you want to have only the day here, 23. Today is 23, and weekday is 5, and 2023 year. So likewise, you can extract hour, minute, second, millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond. That is also possible with date part. It is very, very powerful, this function. Okay, with this you can extract a lot of things. And also we have date add function. For example, if you add 1 year to date, okay, so 1 year if you want to add it to a date, so you can use date add function. Select date add function. Date add is available here. And here what we will do is I'm going to extract year. I want to add 1 with the year. For example, here I just say 2022, and I'm going to say 8 and 25. Some date, okay, date add. So if I select this and if I execute it, look here, just add 1 with this year alone. So 2023, 8th month 25. If you want to add, if you want to increment only the year, okay, then you can use this one. And month, similarly, you can increment by month. Or if you want to go past, right, you want to go to the backwards, you can use negative value. For example, here, if I use negative value, now it went 1 year back. So 2022 to 2021. Now we are able to go 1 year back with date add function. If you want to go back, you can use negative value. If you go forward, you can use the positive value. Likewise, month, you can use it. Month, year, you can use it. Okay. And here, if you just type up to this date add, and for example, if you just put it here, and I'm going to say, look here, interval, and I don't remember whether you can add a day also. You just give it a try. So year, month, it supports. Okay. And you just try quarter also. For example, I don't know if quarter is going to support. Yeah, it is doing it. Good. And see, this is 8. 8 is falling in which quarter? 3, 6, third quarter, right? So third quarter minus the second quarter. So May is second quarter. Good. If you want to go back, you can use negative value. If you want to go forward, you can use positive. So year, month, quarter is also possible with date add. A date part we have already discussed, and then the date difference. If you want to find out the difference between two dates, in the interest of time, I just select this existing one here. I just say date difference, date. I think date diff or difference, date diff. Yeah, date diff. Here, in this case, what you need to do, yeah, year. You want to find out the difference in terms of year. You specify this one, and then you just put the get date. Get date function. Get date will give us the today's date. Okay, 1 year, right? So the difference between these two dates. Get date will give you today's date, and this is previous year. So what is the difference between these 2 years? 1 year difference is there. Okay. And what else? You can compute your age in terms of years, right? That also you can find out. So your current date minus current date here, get date, and then your date of birth. If you specify, it will return in terms of years, right? Age in years. You can find out. And now you understood date add, how you can use it, how you can use the date part. Date part is very, very helpful. And also you can find out the difference between two dates. That is also possible. Okay. And likewise, various functions are available, but these are the one widely used, more frequently used functions. Okay, you want to find out the difference between the dates, and you want to add, you want to go 1 year back, or you want to go 1 year forward. A date add function is helpful, and get date will give you the current date. Likewise, we have something called sys date time is also available. Sys date time. Select sys date time. But make sure that you are using select, followed by the select only. You are supposed to use the built-in function, select sys date. So now even sys date time is also giving me the current date. Okay, sys date time, and even current timestamp function is also available. Current underscore timestamp function is also built-in function. That one will give your current date and time. Let me just show you that one also, the current date. Current timestamp, I think so. 1 second. If you don't remember it, you just type just the first letter. I just remove this one. Current time. Yeah, it is available here. Current time. It's not a function. You don't have to give. Look here, current timestamp. Here it gives us year, month, date, hours, minutes, seconds. Okay, it gives hour, minutes, seconds format. It gives us that way. Current timestamp, sys date time, get date gives you the current date, but it will give you the different format: year, month, date, hour, month, hour, minute, second, millisecond. If you want, you can use these different functions: sys date time or get date, or the current timestamp. Right? So you just play around with these functions. Based on your requirement, you can choose whichever function that you needed. And quickly, I will just go over the operators that are available here. Arithmetic, assignment. These are the common operators that we use it across other programming languages. Even in DAX, we have discussed about these operators. Here, plus, minus, all these things are same as your DAX operators. Comparison, equal sign, less than, greater than, everything is same. And or not, like, between, I don't think so it is available in DAX. In operator is available, or not and. So in DAX, we use for the and, we use double ampersand. sorry, double how do you specify ampersand? Even I forgot the ampersand. Okay, you will specify something like this, right? Ampersand, double ampersand, because we started using keyboard, and double ampersand is your and in DAX, double pipe is or, and not is not only I think so, like we don't have like between available there, but in is available in DAX, logical operators. And the next one is the constraints. So for if you wanted to know, right, so how to use this operator, for example, if I go here and okay, this is not required. Simple thing is 1 plus 1, that's it. It will give you 2. The 1 is an operator here. For example, you want to say 5 or 10 divided by 5. So divided by 5, it gives you the, so this order. 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 10 into 5 is, the star is for multiplication. If you press F5, it will get executed, or else you select this one and click on execute. Okay, and here if you see no column name, that is the reason why we are using the keyword as is an alias. So the output something like that, or result, you can see the result of this expression. Look here, now it gives you some meaningful result, 500, 10 into 50. If you want to multiply these two values, you need to use star. Divide, you need to use this one, and subtract the value negative. And modulo, you need to use this one. So 10 modulo 2, how much you will get? 0. Okay, the remainder is 0. Supposing if I use 12 or 11 here, what is the remainder? Remainder is 1. So it gives a modulo, you need to use percentage here. The next one is, okay, now you understood quickly, all these operators, and we have something else called the string operators. String operators here, I did not mention, yeah, the plus sign. In the case of string operators, you have something, string concatenation, we need to use. Like I said, if you want to concatenate two string, since few of you joined little late, look here, I just want to use, look at the string operator is plus here. In this case, the plus is a string operator. I want to combine hello and world. Okay. Hence, I use the plus in between these two words, and then in between I put the empty string with space. Okay. If I don't give any space there, and if I execute it, these two will display together. I need a space to be left in between these two words. You need to leave some space. Hello world. Okay, and we are saying a percentage. We can use percentage to perform wildcard match, and also you can use the caret operator to check any non-matching values. That and all we will see it later. Okay, if you want to check in the case of as part of the SQL query itself, we will take a look at it. Okay. So next, what we will do is we'll take a look at the DDL and DML and DCL and TCL. The SQL commands, they broadly fit into four categories. Broadly fit into four categories. One is the DDL. So how do I specify comment here in SQL Server? You can use double hyphen, okay? Or what you do is you can use multi-line commands. I believe, yeah, you need to start with, like in C language, how we use it. If you want to use multi-line, if you want to put a single line comment, you can use double hyphen. So here, if I put something like SQL commands, commands or broadly defined in four categories. This is for our understanding the text. Hence, I put double hyphen here, single line comment, because in this case, we have only one line comment is there. Here I put double hyphen. So what will happen is the SQL engine, the SQL Server engine, when it executes this line, as soon as it encounters double hyphen, it will say, hey, this is not my piece of cake. This is a comment. I don't have to execute this one. It will simply skip this one. And this is one line comment. If I want to, write multi-line comment, in that kind of situation, more than one line, if you want to give a comment, then you can use the forward slash followed by star. And then you need to use the star, end with this one. Start from here and end with here. So for example, I just type DDL. What is DDL? Data definition language, and DML, data manipulation language. And we have something else called, what else we have? DCL, data control language. Data control language. And the next one is the TCL. What is TCL stands for? Transaction control language. This is the one used by database administrator. Transactional control language. Apart from this, we have something else called CTE. Okay, in the SQL Server, the CTE is available. We'll discuss it later. Okay, and what is DDL stands for? Data definition language. What are we going to do here? As part of DDL, we create the table. So what are the commands that we use it in DDL? We use the create, drop, alter, truncate commands. As part of DDL, we will be using create table, create view, create stored procedure, create function, create trigger, and create. And the next one is the drop command. I want to drop the view, drop the table, and then I want to alter. Okay, I want to alter the table. I want to add. Let's say I create a table, but I need to add a new column with the previously created table. You can use alter command. Okay, or you want to drop only a specific column, you can use alter command. And truncate command. You have something called truncate. So these are the 4 commands you will be using it in DDL. So basically, we are defining we are going to create the table also, right? Once you create the table, later point in time, if you want to include additional column, use alter command. Supposing you want to drop the table, temporarily you create the table, you no longer need the table, you can use drop. And truncate, it will remove the records permanently from your table, but your table structure will remain as it is. Next one is the data manipulation language. So in this case, data manipulation language, you do select, read, and here what you do is you insert you'll be using the insert command, update command, and delete command. Data control language, here what we will be using it, we'll be using the grant revoke command. Grant, this is more of a DBS job. Okay, you will give the grant select. For example, you are not supposed to, let's say I created a table and I inserted the data. So what I do is I will create another user for you, and I will grant you only the select privilege. In that case, you can only query my table. You are not supposed to delete. You will not have a privilege to modify my data. You will not be able to delete my data. Okay, and also you can't insert the data. So that kind of privilege you can give it with grant or revoke. And the next one is the transactional control commands. This is commit, rollback, something like that. Commit will permanently make changes to your table. For example, you inserted 10 records in a table, and then if you give commit, it will get permanently stored in your table. And we have something called rollback. You inserted 10 records, and then you realize, you made some mistake. We don't want those 10 records to be part of my table. I want to roll back. You can type rollback. Those 10 records will not be stored permanently in a table, it will be removed. So these are the four different at a high level. Okay, they categorized it. DDL is to create the table, create the objects, and DML is to insert, manipulate the data. So once you to manipulate the data, you need to have a table or some object. So using DDL, we create the table or objects, and then we use these commands to manipulate the data. And these are not in our cup of tea. It's a more of like database administration job, but still, if you know, it is better. Okay, next what I'll do is I will just go and show you how to create a table using the GUI thing here. So the SSMS is more developer friendly, even DBA friendly, okay, database administrator friendly. And this is my database. And I'm going to select tables, right click on it and new here table. If I click on table here, you don't have to be familiar with the create table syntax. Here you can specify the column name. For example, employee ID. And the data type is, let's say employee ID is integer. Yeah, int, I just say int and then allow nulls. If I, unselect this, it will become no, don't allow nulls. It will be a non-null value. So next one is the employee name. And here the ncar variable, this one here, I just say 25 or 30. And then you can, even in the employee name should not be null. I just created it. And next one is, I just click on the cross and then it will say, yes, you want to close this. While you click cross, it will ask you the table name. It is a little bit different from other SQL client. Okay, this is very specific to SQL Server. Okay, only when you close this, it will ask you the table name. Usually, it will ask us to enter the table name first. But you remember in Power BI desktop, when you click on the entire data, the table will get open. The column name will be there. You can type the column, and then at the bottom you will find the something like table, enter table name. At least there, right? It shows. But here, when you close it, only when you close it, will ask the table name. Here I just say one table something or employee table something like that. This is the GUI way of doing the creating the table. Okay, and then if you see here, and then I'm going to refresh it here. Look here, dbo.employee one. This is the one we created it, and then you just extract. You can expand this one by clicking on the plus icon, and then you can, when you expand this one, the column next to the columns, you can see the columns names, column names, whatever that we created as part of this table. Okay, and then when you right click on it, you will have something like script table as insert to. Okay, and here if you see here, the insert statement itself will get generated. How did I do that? You select the table name, right click on it, and then go to the script table as, and then instead of create to, and here you just give insert to, new query editor window. When you click on this, it generates an insert statement for your table employee one. Hence, you don't have to be familiar with the syntax name here. Okay, you don't have to be familiar with syntax. Okay, insert into followed by insert into, or in between insert and into, do I need to give space? After, you don't have to worry about this. It generates the scripts on its own. Okay, all you need to do is just go and specify the name here. For example, here I just say employee ID is 101, and you don't need this brackets. You remove that 101. The okay here. Remove everything and you just give Rajesh. One row affected. And then first we created the table using the GUI, and then we generated the insert script. So it is pretty much helpful, right? The SSMS, you don't have to be aware of the syntax also. And then when you right click on it now, click on select top 1000 rows. It generates the SQL query. It writes the SQL query on your behalf. You don't have to write the SQL query. Look here. But here, what is this 1000? I want to see the top 1000 records. In this case, hardly we have only one record. The default one is 1000. You can customize it. If you want to say top 1, you can use top 1. Can I give 0 here? Will it work? Top 0, nothing is there, right? It will not display anything. And you need to say 1 here. For you, the assignment is, how do you display the bottom 10 records also? How do you do that? You just give it a try. I will share this script to you all. Don't worry. And then I'll put it in my GitHub also, so that you can quickly go and download it and you can use it. What I will do is, in the interest of time, I just go here. Already I have the script available here. Look here, all these things are available here. Okay, not this one. This is the one I tried it a while ago. Okay, I think I closed it, that one. It is there here. Yeah. So now what we will do is, I will be selecting the dummy database. So demo database, use demo DB. I'm going to create a couple of tables. So I need to tell which database I wanted to store the tables. Okay, which database I wanted to create the tables. Use the keyword use followed by the specify the database name where you want to create the tables, because a lot of databases are there. SQL Server should know in which database you want to create it. Okay, that is the reason why I just specified the data. Here I selected the database. In which database I want to create the tables and store the data in it. Okay. And what we do is, usually if you see the database administrator script, they will start with the drop table first. Even though these tables were not created earlier, they use this conventionally, the drop statement first. And the next one, the create table. I just want to create the table. Look here, department table got created. Okay. Now what I do is, I just go and insert some data here. So what are the columns are there? Department number. Instead of creating it with the GUI option, I have used the command here, right? So this is my DDL command, create table is my, better you can use always the caps letter for the reserved word, so that it will be good for the readability. Anyhow, this table got created, and this here I use the big int to store the department number, and I just mentioned not null. Not null is a constraint. So department number should not have any blank value. It should have some value here. Okay, you don't allow null values. Then department name, the length should be 14 and it should be var character, and location should also be var character data, and the length should be 13. Okay, and I have defined the constraint here. Constraint and primary key. And what is the primary key in this table? Department number. Department number supposed to be a primary key column, wherein it should not allow any duplicate values in it. Okay, supposing when I just go and drop this table department, and if I remove the not null, and then if I create this table, depart number does not exist in the target table or view. Let me do one thing. I think I made a mistake here. Yeah, this is the one. Table gets created, though I did not specify not null for this one. So what we will do is, we'll see the structure of this table, exec and sp columns. Show the table structure here. If you see here, the table name, column name, depart number, data type begin, and it gives some -5 depart name, and the length it gives us. Yeah, here I did not specify anything here, right? So yeah, in the case of big int, you don't have to specify. The default one is the precision is 19 and length is 8. Look here is nullable. The department number column is not a nullable column. Even if you don't specify not null constraint explicitly, when you use primary key, what happens is on the department number column, I use the primary key, reserved word. So in this case, what happens? It considers this one as a non-nullable column. Null is not allowable. Okay, either you can specify explicitly or you don't have to specify when you use the primary key. Okay, when you use the primary key, you don't have to specify not null. Okay, not the primary key on this column. Okay, and what is this? This is execute. This is the built-in stored procedure. So you might have heard about stored procedure. Okay, even if you had never worked on that, so I would have used the term stored procedure. In Power BI desktop, I think I've demonstrated how to invoke a stored procedure while connecting to SQL Server, right? So that is the one here. So how do I invoke a stored procedure or execute a stored procedure? You need to use this reserved word. This is a reserved word followed by you need to specify a stored procedure name. This is a built-in stored procedure. Someone had already created this one. We don't have to create on our own. This is already built in one. So what this stored procedure does is it gives you the table structure. The other simple option is you just go here on the left side. You can refresh it, and here in the in the tables, look here, department table is there. And you can in the GUI itself you can see it. The structure, look here, the department number is the key, which is nothing the primary key. If you see the key here, this column is a primary key column. It is a not null, though I did not specify explicitly not null here. Look here, it's this column, you cannot insert null. It's a big int data type, and the department, all the columns you can see it. Instead of seeing it here, is there any other alternative? Can I use any command line? Can I use any script in the command line? Yes, to view these columns that are part of your table. Not only the columns, data type, primary key, all the things, right? You can use this command, exec sp columns depart. Okay, now I just, the table is available. Fine. The next thing is insert into, I'm going to, this is my data definition language. Okay. We will discuss about the primary key, foreign key little later. How do we create the primary key, foreign key? Insert into this table. I want to, now I create the table. I need to insert the data, isn't it? So here I just say the depart number is, let's say 101. And the first one is the accounts department. And then the location is Chicago. And when I click on execute, syntax error. Insert into depart values. Look here, now it is working fine. Now I want to query the table department to check. I'm going to use star here. Select all the value from my depart. The star tells us, tell the SQL engine, hey, select all the column from the department table and show the data. So this is the one we inserted using the insert into values command. Okay, so this is my DDL statement. This is my DML, data manipulation. Using insert, I manipulated the data. In the sense, I inserted the data into this table. And then I queried this one, select star from. This is also your, select is what? This is also your the DML function, okay? And then what we do is, now we could see that the data got inserted well into this one. And for example, I don't want to insert the data in all the 3 columns. I just want to insert the data in only in 2 columns or any specific columns, 2 columns, okay? How do I do that? This is one up, this is one way of doing it. This is insert the data into all the columns. And the next one is I just insert the data into only the specific columns. Here, in this case, I don't want to insert the data in my department column. Let's say I have something called payroll. Payroll is a department. When I execute this, see, I have three columns are there in this table. The first column is a not null. Obviously, I mentioned the value for this, hence it will not fail. Second one is I have the character department name. Third one I did not specify. If I execute, what will happen? It will throw an error. Column in number of supplied value does not match the table definition. Because in the table you have three columns, but you supplied only two values. It fails. But I wanted to store the values only in these two columns, but I don't know which location this department is going to be there. Okay. So in that case, I want to insert the values only in these two columns. But when I use this syntax, right, when I use this command, it is not allowing me to insert because it expects me to enter the value for the location also. So how do I do that? So for that, next to the table name, you need to specify the column name, depart number, and D name. What we are saying is these two values you insert only in these two columns respectively. And if I execute this one, okay, I will give some other number, it will throw an error because 101 is already there, right? It will throw an error. And I just say F5. Yes, one row got affected. Now I'm going to query the table and check. Yes, it got inserted only in these two columns, depart number payroll. If you want to insert the values in your table for a specific columns or a specific set of columns, followed by the table name, you need to specify the column names. Okay, and in the values, you need to specify the values in this sequence. The 1 or 2 is for depart number, D name is this one. And then, for example, I want to insert top rows using, or for example, I want to clone this table. How do I clone this table? What do you mean by clone the table? Clone department table. How can I do that? Yeah, we can put null, but here, let's go step by step. Okay, clone table. In this case, okay, create a seat as, right? So yes, okay, select star into depart one from depart table. Yes. So in other RDBMS, they call it a CTAS, create a table as. This is the reserved word they'll use it. Create space table as the table name, select star. They will be using it. But in the case of SQL Server, this is completely different approach. Okay. So what I did, I selected all the values from the department table and then loaded into depart one. Now, if you select the department depart one, you will find a new table got created. It is exactly identical to my depart table. Okay, likewise, you can clone. Clone in the sense you can copy the data from one table to another table. This is how we can do it. Okay, so this is how we can do it. Other one is, for example, you want to insert only the top rows. Okay, in that kind of situation, how we can do it. So before that, yes, we have another option. Just now I remembered, insert into We have something insert rows from source to destination, something like that. Destination. We have something like insert into we have depart one. Okay, insert into depart one. Sorry. Okay, now what I do is in the depart one table, already it has some data in it. I just wanted to remove these records from this table. I want to empty this table. I'm going to use a command called truncate. Alternately, you can use delete command. Truncate table depart one. Okay, and if you select this table, nothing is there. So now you have a department table is available, but only the structure of the department one table is available. It doesn't have any data, but the structure of this table and department table is same. So in that case, you can use this command. For example, select star from depart and load this table data into this table. But this table should pre-exist. Otherwise, this will not work. If I execute this one, look here, 2 rows got loaded. Select star from depart one now. If I give this another way of cloning the data. In this case, you can just clone the data, but you cannot clone the structure of the table. Okay. This is another way of cloning the data. In the real times, these are the things, are very much helpful. And other things are like you want to insert only the top one record, something like that. Insert top top 1 or top 10 records. Insert top 1 records or top 10 records, top n records. So in that case, you can use the same thing. Insert into, insert, you need to use top 1 into the depart 1. Select star from depart. I'm going to truncate this one again. And look here, the depart 1 have no record in it. I just do this one. So what it does is select only the first record from the depart table. Okay, what is the first record is then let me just select only this one and then press F5. 2 records are there. Of these 2 records, only the take first record and insert in my department 1 table. That is what it is going to do. And if you do select star from depart 1, look here. Okay, I want to insert the data from my source table department to my target table department 1. Fine, I can use this command, but is there any way I can just insert only the top 20 records, top 100 records from this table to this table? Yes, it is possible with this one. And also you can use some join condition. With that, you can do it because it is too early to discuss about join. After I covering the join, I will be explaining that one. Okay. And the next one is the alter table. Okay. So now we just use the data definition language create table. And then we have used the data manipulation like insert statement. Is there any way I can alter this table? Modify the table. I create the table, but later on I realized, I made some mistake here. I want to, make a changes to this table. Is there any way if I can do this? For example, the department name should not be null. Okay, it should not be null. I should have given the not null constraint here. There is something called not null constraint. I did not specify not null here because when you when you insert department number in this table, obviously department name should be there. If you don't give not null here, what will happen is, if you forget to give the department name, this column will have the blank value in it here. Okay. So what I do here is, I'm going to use the alter DDL command. So I create the table and then modify the table, alter table, depart, and here's something called alter column. But in the Oracle modify, here the alter column, alter column, okay, column dname, not null. You can select this one. Sorry, here the depart name is your var of 14, right? What I'll do is the department name also I'm going to increase it. I just say 20, the width. Yes. Now, if you go and see this table here, department name. So earlier it was 14 and it was null. Okay. And now let us refresh this and check it out here. And this is a crazy thing happens here. So sometimes in department table, I have included the additional. See, it is not reflecting immediately. So in that kind of situation, this stored procedure, the built-in store is very much helpful. Look here. Yeah, I'm going to execute this one. Look here, it shows me here. The department name was still it shows 12 and then varchar of 20. Look here. Sorry, you forget about the this one. The width I changed it to 20, right? From 14 I changed to 20, and then it should be not null. And if you see at the end, is nullable? No, which means this column became not null. So sometime with the GUI, you will force this issue. Right click on it, you can refresh it here also. Sometimes it will not get refreshed. So in that kind of situation, these functions are very much helpful. This gives you the structure, table structure. Okay. So using alter table, now we have seen create table, alter table, and drop table. If you give drop table, drop, I'm not going to execute this one in the interest of time, drop table, depart. So this one will drop this table. But if once you drop it, you cannot recover it. But maybe you can get the database administrator help. They'll be taking the backup. They may restore this table, but it's very difficult to restore once you drop the table up to date. Okay, as of now, whatever the data you loaded in the table, if you want to get it back after you drop the table, you can't get it. Okay, maybe the DBS can help you to restore this table from their backup. But so whenever they did the last backup, right? Till the last backup, they can restore this table, recover and restore this table. For example, they took the backup of this table yesterday evening by 6 p.m. Up to that, whatever the data you loaded, they can give it to you. But yesterday, after 6 point, since 6 p.m. to till now, whatever the data you inserted, it is gone. Hence, don't ever use drop table, drop command. Even delete also, you need to be very, very cautious. Don't use it. You need to be very, very cautious when you. But the create table is DDL command, data definition language. Modifying the table structure is also alter table is also this one. And then the next one is the drop table. What else? And then you have truncate. Truncate is also falls under DDL, data definition language only. If you want to truncate the data. Okay, there are two things here. One is inserting the data. Other one is you can delete the data from the table. For example, the depart one table, I already inserted the data. We will play around with this depart one table. So if I use the delete from, we have something called delete from command. There are two ways you can remove the data from a table. You can use delete from or you can use truncate. We will see the difference. When I execute this one row got affected. And if I go and check it here, okay, deleted the record. Now what I do is I just say roll back. Oh, okay. I should have used the begin transaction. And if I use it will not be there. Okay. What I will do is I will have to redo this one. So you need to use something like begin trans, not like Oracle. Okay. And I worked much on Oracle. And here begin transaction end here, something like this. Let us do one thing. We will use the same thing here up to this one. Okay. I just use the go statement, and then followed by this, I will use go here. Okay. Otherwise, I just use here the go. Okay. And when I delete the one now, one row affected, and if I use the select star from go, no records are there. When I use rollback, yes. And if I select star from department, it is not displaying. Rollback is not working here. Maybe I'll do it one more time. Begin tran and end tran, I think so. Yes, end tran here. It is syntax error here. Yeah, here it is not required. It shows one row affected two times. What is that? Look here, it got recovered. So you need to execute the entire block of the code. Start with begin tran and end. If you want to roll back, for example, in this case, I inserted the one record, top record from this table into this table. When I queried it here, it was showing one record was there. And afterwards, I deleted the record from this table. Though I deleted the record, since I use a rollback, it was undone. Whatever the record that I deleted, it was undone. That means, it's something like control Z. When you use control Z, you will get it back, right? You got the data back here. If you want to use rollback, you need to use the begin end. You need to put all your statements inside your begin, tran, and end. Okay. So that entire thing will be considered as a batch. Okay. I just want to roll back. I want to keep the data. Okay. Don't delete it permanently. Okay. And here I deleted it. I realized, no. I don't want to delete it. Roll back. You can give roll back here. Okay. So I got the data back here. So what is this rollback is all about? The commit, the rollback, these are called your TCL commands, transaction control commands. Language. Okay. Fine. We are done. So now you are familiar with the DDL commands, the create table, drop table, alter table, and truncate table, and the DML, insert, delete, you learned. That is your DML statements. And the TCL is you can control a transaction. Even if you delete it, you roll back it. Right? You can use some save point and all. Okay, that we'll discuss it later. Okay. So transaction can commit and roll back or a transaction. And then we have discussed about the DCL, data control language. That is nothing but the privileges. The grant select on. Supposing I created this table in my username is Satya and your username is Rajesh. And if I give only the select privilege, grant select on department table to Rajesh, Rajesh can only query this table. He cannot do anything beyond this. He cannot insert the data. He cannot do anything. That is your thing. Okay, we are clear with this one as of now, right? Now what I do is I'll just quickly jump into the constraints. What are the constraints? These are the constraints are available this is very common in all the RDBMS. Okay. Not null constraint already explained you. The department name, there should not be any null value should go there. So first of all, why constraints needs to be created? What is constraint? Constraints are nothing but we are defining the rules as part of the table creation itself. When you create the table, while you create the table, you are defining the rules also, so that you make sure that while inserting the data itself into your table, you don't want to put some wrong values, okay, or bad data. You don't want the bad data to get in here. For example, in the depart number column in my department table should have only the unique values in it. It should not allow null. It should not allow duplicate values. If that has duplicate values, then I cannot do the filtering. If you say it in Power BI language, you cannot do the filtering because you have duplicate values in your depart number column in your department table, and you have the duplicate values in your depart number column in your employee table also. In that case, it's kind of a many-to-many relationship. It requires some kind of treatment, right? So what we do is we make sure that the right data should get into the table while loading the data itself. So for that, we are defining the rules while creating the table itself. In the table definition, we'll create some rules. Depart name should not have null. Depart number should not have null. And depart number supposed to be your primary key column. Using the primary key column, you can uniquely identify a record. Fine. What is a foreign key? In the case of employee table, also you have the depart number. But the employee table, the depart number, what you have is nothing but your foreign key. It is a foreign key to your department table. And the unique is also somewhat similar to your primary key column. It will have only unique value in it, but it will allow null, only one null value in it. Okay. And the next one is check constraint. Check constraint is something like this. Look here. This is my table creation definition. And here I've used something called check constraint, check function. So while insert any data into this table, make sure that in the salary column, you are not putting values less than 0. You are defining the rule here, business rule here itself. So that you will not have any nonsense data will get into your salary column. While loading the data itself into this table, right? In this table definition itself, if you define the constraints, we can make sure that we are loading the right data, correct data into this table. We are loading the consistent data and correct data into this table. For that purpose, we define constraints. The primary key constraint, unique key constraint, not null constraint, and primary key constraint, and then foreign key constraint, and then check constraint. And we have something called default constraint. Default constraint also we can use it. I just show you something. See here, you can simply say the higher date default is your get date, today's date. Fine, that's all. Whenever you recruit a person, onboard a person, it should show that it should store that specific date, in this one, right? Current date should get stored here. And then the salary should not be null. Okay, it should be not null constraint. And this is your default constraint. And for primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, unique constraint, check constraint. We discussed everything. Okay, I'm going to create this table now. Let us see if this one works correctly or not. Now, yes, all the syntax are correct. Everything is working fine. Okay, now this table employee got created. So if you look at this constraint here, primary key, I could have used the primary key. And in this table, I mentioned very clearly the employee number, emp number column supposed to be a primary key. You should not have any duplicate values in it. Don't allow duplicate employee number in this column. But just before this, I'm using something constraint and something different, right? So this one is to find out the constraint later point in time. Supposing I wanted to drop some constraint later point in time. In that case, a little bit difficult, but we give some name to this primary key constraint, some meaningful name. For that, we use a reserved name constraint followed by this primary key pk underscore emp number, something like that. Okay. And we give some meaningful name for the primary key and as a constraint name. Okay. And the foreign key also we give some fk is depart number. In this case, the syntax is foreign space key, depart number, and the references. Okay. In this table, the depart number should reference my department table's department number. The department table department number. All right. So that is what we mentioned here. Okay. In this case, what will happen is any department number, let's say in this department table, the department number you inserted 10, 20, 30. Anything other than 10, 20, 30, if you insert it in this table, it will throw an error. It will not load the data. For example, if I insert 100 here, right, what will happen is, since we define the constraint, it will go and check 100 is there in my department table. Since it is not there, it will throw an error. It will not insert the data. Okay. For that reason also, we are defining the constraints. And then here, the check constraint. For this also, we are giving some meaningful constraint, because primary key, foreign key, we know the check, all these are the constraints. But later point in time, I wanted to drop only the check constraint. So how will I drop it? All of them are constrained, right? Hence, with the help of this reserved word constraint, we define the constraint name for each type of the constraint. For primary key constraint, we use this name. You can use whatever the name, but use some meaningful name, okay? And this one. And later point, if you want to drop this constraint, drop alter table, drop constraint, check salary. It will drop this one. Okay. Look here, in this case, I created the table, but I forgot to specify the default constraint here. Alter table, your table name, add constraint, constraint name, whatever, this kind of syntax here. Okay, default is get date, you can specify. So it is not mandatory that you should define all the constraints while creating the table itself. So for example, I forgot to create the default constraint for this table. The later point, I realized, no, I need to create the default constraint for higher date. We can use alter table command to create the default constraint. Okay, here instead of 50, we say get date function. For higher date. Likewise, you can give it. Okay. Okay, now you understood the insert, the update. Next one is the update statement. So what I will do is I will just demonstrate with this in the interest of time. For example, here in the update department table, so you learned about how to insert the data. Look here, this is the one, insert into depart, all the things. And the next one is the update statement. Delete also you learned. And the next step is I'm going to say the update statement, update, how to update the data. For example, I'm going to use update. 1 second, sorry. Sorry, I'm just getting some urgent message from office. No problem, we'll continue here. So update table name. What is the table name? Depart. Okay, I want to make some changes to my update table name. What is my table name? Depart. Or we will use depart one, the temporary table. Okay, the cloned data. Okay, and here I just want to set some value here. What value is there in this table? Select star from depart one. Look here, I just copy paste it here again. Before you make changes, you just query the data and see what is there. And for example, accounts department, now it got shifted to San Jose. What you do is you need to change the location name. Locate, set locate equal LOC equal to San Jose. Update is the keyword, and this is the table name. Set is also another keyword, and the locate is a column name. In this column, you change the department name as San Jose. Since we have only one record, this command will work. Now, if I go and query this table, look here, the Chicago got replaced with San Jose. but this is very, very bad practice. Don't ever use delete or update without using where clause. In one of the cases, my project leader, he did not use where clause. It literally messed up everything. Almost 150 jobs failed. Even the company CEO woke up. JPMC CEO, he woke up in the midnight. He was staying all through the night until we recovered everything. Okay. Here, always use where. Since for the purpose of demo, I just use set, but make sure that you are using where condition. Even if there is no where condition, you can check with your manager what kind of filtering condition should I use it. Ideally, what we should have done here was the depart number is equivalent to 101. For the depart number 101, you set it to San Jose. This where clause is very much important, especially when you use update and delete. Now I just do it one more time. It will not cause any problem. Look here. And if I select the depart one, San Jose, correct. So what happens here is for the depart number 21, right? In that specific record, go and change the location from Chicago to San Jose. For example, now I just want to change it to San Francisco. San Francisco. So what I do here is, what I'm telling it to SQL is, go to the depart number 101. For this depart number 101, change the location to San Francisco. But in this case, I have only one record. If I execute, it will work, but it's not a good practice. Just click on this. And now you select this one, select from depart one. Look here, it got changed to San Francisco. Very good. So now you learned the another DML language update. And even in the case of update, what you do is you can use a select statement here. Okay. In the update command itself, we can use the select statement. And that one probably we will see it later because we need to have another table for this. And supposing you want to update more than one column, how do you do that? So I want to change the department name for the depart number 101, and at the same time I want to change this one. For example, now I just say New York. Okay, comma, the depart D name is equivalent to finance. Or this is accounts, right? Oh yeah, instead of accounts, I just want to rename it as finance. What they say accounts is not the correct term, we will change to finance department. So in this case, you need to modify the values from two columns, right? Modify the values of two columns, the location column and department name column. In that case, the syntax remains same up to this one. Since you want to make changes in one more column, put comma, followed by the comma, you specify the another column, okay? And I'm going to hit execute. Yes, it is working fine. I'm going to execute this command and just check. Yes, previously it was accounts department name. The department was accounts, and then the previous location was San Francisco. Now it got changed. We changed the values from these two columns in one go with one update statement. Don't use multiple update statement. That is also a bad practice. Only when it is required, you can go for that one. And other thing is like, I don't want to update all the records. I just want to update only the top 5 records. So in that case, you can use update top command also. But when it comes to update, we don't use top and all, but you should be aware, what for testing purpose, we will make some changes to the data. In that kind of situation, we'll be, doing this kind of thing. So update top 1 and department 1 for this one. Look here, even this command is working. And now if you select this table, yes. So in this case of top 1, you can use top 2 or 3. Usually after you complete your coding part, you will be writing the SQL queries, including the data manipulation language, right? So you make changes to the data to test your script with different scenarios. Okay, test scenario. For that, you need to have the different data in your data set. You need to prepare the data as a developer, test data also, some cases. In that kind of situation, these are the commands can help you to prepare the test data. Top one, also you can use it, and delete also you can use the delete. I don't think so. You can use stop command. Okay. Delete, make sure that you are using var class. Okay. And in the var class, not necessarily depart number equal to 101. What we will do is we will check some condition. Here, you will write us, another query here, where depart number in, you'll be using another query, subquery here. Okay. Whatever the values returned here, that one will be matched here, and then you will be doing this one. Okay. That we will see it little later. Okay. What else we want to see it now? Okay, we are done with all these constraints, and you learned why we need all these. The next one is join, the inner join, left join, right join, full join, self join. Quickly, we will touch upon these type of joins. Now we will insert some data in the employee table. It's already available here. In the interest of time, I'm going to reuse this one and press F5, select all these things. And I'm going to use these data set, whichever works, let it work. And up to this, I'm going to, don't worry, this script is already there in my GitHub. You can go and download it. If you don't find it, don't worry. I will share it probably tomorrow, because already late. I have office meetings also there. And select star from the invalid object name emp. This one I created, wasn't it? I just, oh, I did not create it. But then how come it was not throwing any error? Okay, let it be there. I'll just insert few records, and then maybe here I selected this one, it seems. Yes, select star from emp. Somewhere some problem happened. Convert. Look here, I have used the convert function here. Here, if I specify just like this, right, it was throwing some error. Hence, I've used the convert function somewhere. Convert the string into date data type. Okay, that is what the convert function is doing it. Fine. We have some data here. What I will do is I will just use the join function here. We'll perform the join. Okay, the inner join, outer join, everything. Even for this, I have the script. Let me just close this one. Okay, join is not there somewhere. I kept it. Just go up. Yeah, the inner join. Look here, the department name. So what I did here, I just use the select statement. So the anatomy of the select statement is followed by the select. Select is a keyword. You need to specify what are the columns that you need to extract it. But I want to extract the columns from two tables, the employee table and then department table. Here what I did, follow all the columns I listed out here. I specified it here in both the tables. And then in the from class, we have something called from class. We need to specify the table names. In this case, I specify only employee. Followed by that, I use the keyword as and then E. So henceforth, E is nothing but employee. Something like your name is Rajendra Babu. If they say Babu, that is your alias. This kind of alias, okay. And then what I do is I use a reserved word inner join. What you do is you join the department table with the employee table with the inner join. Okay. So here on the left side we have the employee table, right side we have the department table. D on. So I have given the alias for the department table also. See, the employee table, the short name is E. You just think short name is nothing but alias, okay? For the department, then the short name is D. And you need to use the reserved as on. Inside of this, you need to specify the common column between these two tables. Department number is the common column between these two tables. You remember, I put it in the picture in my PowerPoint. If I wanted to select the columns from two tables, I need to create the relationship between the two tables. But even in your SQL query, you need to specify the common column, in the where clause or in the inner join. You need to specify it on, followed by the on. I just query this one. I'll see if any records matching this. Yes, fine. And if I select the select star from depart, in this I have 10, 20, 30, 40 are there. But in the employee table, we can see 10, 20 department number only is there. Matching to this depart number values that are there in my employee table, it displays the employee name and the depart name from my department table and salary from my employee table. This is for inner join. In the case of inner join, in the from clause, you need to specify the table which you want to use it. Okay, and then followed by the table name, you need to use the reserved word inner join. It is kind of a union. Okay, also the intersect, not the union, intersect. You remember, this is my table. Let's know this is my E and this is my E. D. E is nothing but employee. D is nothing my department table. The common value between these two. But department, I have 10, 20, 30, and 111 and all is there. But in the employee table, I have 10, 20. Most of the employees, they belong to 10, 20 only. For example, Avinash is falling in 20, Sumit is falling in 20, and Nitesh is falling in 10, and even Priyanka is falling in 10. But we don't have any employees falling in other departments. Hence, the common column between these two tables when it comes to department number is 10 and 20 only. Hence, it retrieves all the employees, those works. So the common values between these two tables, right? And the common value for the depart number, the inner join, it does this. So is there any other way? See, this is, instead of writing like this, simple way of writing is this way. But most of them, they prefer inner join to be written like this. The other way of doing is you can just remove the inner join here, emp as E and depart as D. You can use where clause here instead of this one, where E dot department equal to. So in the employee table, use the depart number column, and then the department table, use the depart number column. With that common column between these two tables, you select these values. It is producing the same output. If you select these two things and if you execute it, you can compare the output of these two things and the result here. For the first query, 5 records, second query is a 5 record, all of them are same only. Both of them producing the same output. Then why should I use inner join? This is standard, now they are following it. In the past, they used to follow this way, okay? And similarly, inner join. Instead of using inner join, you can use a left outer join. Left outer join. So what you do is you do a left outer join on this employee table by this department table. So what will be the output here? If I select this one, all the records from your employee table will get displayed here. And then the right outer join. What is the right outer join? All the records from your department table will get, so all the values from your employee and department table, and then the non-matching value of the depart number will also get displayed. Look here, and then here it is null, null, null is there, 10, 20, and the remaining null, null are there, right? It's showing null, null, null here. Okay, let me just go and select the select star from depart table. Here we have 101, 102. There are no matching values are available here. Okay, so in the department name, in the department table, there are some department numbers are there, but that depart numbers are not available here. Hence, it puts null here, but still it shows the department name here. Okay. And if you want the department number also, you can just type d dot depart number. And if you could have attended my Power Query session, the join, the same thing here. Look here. The depart number 30 is there in my department table, whereas it is not there here, right? So none of the employees got assigned to these departments. Hence, it shows null in my employee columns. Whereas in the department table, I have these departments, but I'm yet to assign the employees to these departments. These departments, we don't have any employees assigned as of now. That is what we can see with the right outer join. We have outer join. It is A union B. It shows all the values, okay, in both the tables. Since we don't have any employees assigned to this department, it shows null here, okay. And the full outer join, yeah, this is outer join, left outer join, right outer join, inner join. These are the commonly used joins that we have seen it so far. And apart from this, we can use the set operators, union. Whatever the depart number is there here, in the same department, we want to union it. So all the depart number will come. See here also in the employee table, so we have 10, 20. Here also we have in the department table, so we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 101, 102 is there. Since 10, 20 is available in both the table, employee table and department table, it removes the duplicate. Union will remove the duplicate. See, it's something like this. A union B. When you use union, what will happen is, let's say you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Here also we have 1, 2, 4, 5. What happens? It combines all the value 1, 2. Since 1, 2 is also available, it will remove the duplicate. And rest of the values 3 and 4 is there here. It will 4 is there here. It will put only one time and then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It remove the duplicates. Union will combine all the values from the two tables or two sets, but it will remove the duplicates. Whereas union all, it will put everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 5. That is what union. Union all will not remove the duplicates. This is the operator, and the intersect will give you the common value between the 10 and 20. You can understand now, right? So what are the common values, common depart numbers between these two tables? Employee and department 10 and 20. You can get this one. Now the question is, what is the difference between intersect and inner join? Can someone tell me? And minus is not available. Okay, in SQL Server, minus operator is not available. A minus B. What is the equivalent in Power BI? Can someone tell me A minus, what is the equivalent to A minus B in Power BI? B minus A. See, one student, right? She was attending an interview with Deloitte, Bangalore. I was part of that call. She could not understand. So, they asked, if I wanted to subtract B from A, what query that you use it? How many of you remember it? Anti-join, right? Left anti-join. In this case, left anti. Very, very good, Nitesh, right? Left anti-join. Left anti-join, right anti-join. So in this case, not in. Since you cannot use minus is not available, you can use not in here. And if you execute here, and what are the department number that are not there here, you display it 30, 40, 101, 102. The remaining 10, 20 is available here in my employee table, the depart number, but whereas the depart number, these values are not there in my employee table. So minus, not in, right? And next one is the except. We have something called except. Except is also, same as this one, right? I just select these two things. We'll compare the output of both. $30, 40, 101, right? So not in, or you can use except also here. And the opposite one is, what is this? I have used, the opposite one is that one, okay. And self join, okay, left join, and this is the one. This is your self join. So which employee is working for, reporting to which manager? Smith has no manager because he himself a manager. Clark is also a manager. Scott is a manager. But for Jones, Ford is the manager. For Jones, Scott is the manager, and Ford, Smith is the manager for this guy. Okay, this is the manager. So the using this query, you can do. Oh, this is left join, right? So yeah, so what you do is you can try for the self join. How you can do the self join? That is an assignment for you. Give it a try with self join, and this is a left join. Okay, and then we have distinct. What is distinct? Unique name. If I select only the job from this table, it will give me the jobs that are available in this table. Okay, so analyst, clerk, maybe these values are repeating more than once, but when you use the distinct function, it will give you the unique values in this column, cardinality. Okay, so it gives you the cardinality or something like that. Okay, and the next one is the select star from M will give you the entire values, all the columns data. And top 3 records, if you want to see it, you can use top 3 function. And if you want to filter the data, you can use var class and order by. If you want to sort the data based on your salary column, you want to sort the data in descending order based on the salary column. Look here, the top values. And then most of the interviews, they ask this question: can you write a query to find out the nth maximum salary? Given any salary, if I ask you fourth maximum salary, third maximum salary, there are 4 different approaches are available. What we will do, we'll discuss that on this Sunday. Please bear with me. Tomorrow is going to be very hectic for me. I have a lot of status call at office, and Saturday also a bit tight. And Sunday night, we will try to cover the and all the remaining part of the SQL queries. Okay, this SQL part. And then what we will do is we will continue on this Monday itself. Monday night, we will discuss about the project. And Tuesday, we will again continue. And then we'll discuss about the performance tuning on the query point of SQL queries. And then what we'll do is we'll discuss any leftover part. Okay, we'll discuss on that and we'll try to close it on this Tuesday itself. And Wednesday, what we'll do is Wednesday, I'll be busy. And Thursday, what we will do is we will have a follow-up call. Okay, and then we will see how we can position you, and then interview preparation session we'll have it. Okay, so what questions you can expect, all the things. Okay, is that sounds good? So tomorrow and day after tomorrow, I'm a bit busy. Please bear with me because tomorrow a lot of status calls are there, design review calls are there at my workplace. And this Sunday night, same time, 9 p.m. we will continue. And Monday project, I'll explain you the projects. And then Tuesday, yeah, the SSIS is pending. SSIS and
Dashboard.
what is that?
Creating dashboards from the
That is
scratch.
that is on Tuesday, pending items. Okay. And
Okay,
Wednesday,
okay, sir.
Thursday, we will see that exercise part. Okay, I'll show you the exercise part also. And next Saturday, we'll wrap up everything. Next Saturday, what we'll do is we'll show you the Power Automate, any other pending items, we'll close it, and then we will wrap up everything. Okay, Power Automate, SSIS, and cloud also I will touch upon it. Don't worry. Okay, Power Automate, right? When I explain the Power, that time still explain, because Power Automate we'll do it on cloud only. Okay, I'll show you that one also. Don't worry. Okay, since you don't have any more questions, I'm going to wrap up the session. We will circle back on this Sunday night by 9 p.m. Okay. Meanwhile, I will share the videos. You watch it.